as of Tuesday lunchtime, there are a lot of West Ham rumours. I think it's just a case of getting through as many of them as possible. And we may even know by the end of today, or certainly by tomorrow, which ones are true or not. There's no days left. Well, I said there are some days. There's 2 days left of the transfer window. So stuff is going to need to start happening now if it's going to happen at all. The one thing that doesn't need to happen now is the Jesse Lingard situation. Because he is not registered to any club, we can sign him outside of the window. Now, Darmesh Sheth, of course, who is the Sky Sports News sort of transfer guru, if you like, he said West Ham are talking to Lingard's representatives. I don't think that's particularly relevant breaking news right now. West Ham have been speaking to Lingard's representatives for the past month, as far as I'm concerned. What it does mean, though, is that he can be signed. He can be signed in the middle of next week. He can be signed 2 weeks later. It really doesn't matter at all. I think what's probably quite key in that is that if West Ham do really want to sign him, then he's already in place. I'm guessing he hasn't got a whole load of other offers. Otherwise, he'd be off somewhere else, I think. Anyway, so that's not pertinent. That's not relevant to right now. There have been links with Kurt Zouma, the Zouma rumour. This would be a really bad one. Now, the rumour that I heard, and there are a number of them, the one that really sort of stuck out was the Saudi one, because I think anything is believable. It's amazing how quick it goes. I've mentioned it before, but, you know, if you'd have said 4 months ago, such and such is being linked to a move to Saudi, you'd sort of dismiss it. But now so many players have signed to play over there that I think anyone is a realistic, viable option there. So when you hear that there's a couple of Saudi clubs who are interested in Kurt Zouma, you think, okay, maybe there's something in it. When I say something in it, I mean maybe there's something in the interest. He's a big player for West Ham. Now, we do our patron player of the... We basically do our player rating series. At the end of it, we get our organic hammer of the year. Last year, after totting up all of myself and Gio's player ratings, Kurt Zouma was our player of the year, was our hammer of the year last year. He's pivotal. He's absolutely crucial to the way David Moyes likes to play. He's an absolute brick wall at the back. David Moyes has recently just made him captain. I think it would be bad news for West Ham, for David Moyes and the team in general, were he to go. I hope we're in a position where we can just say, no, you're not going, and hopefully he's happy enough here, you know, living in London, that he doesn't want to go over there. But the sort of money that the Saudi clubs offer will turn your head, because as I mentioned in yesterday's video, not only does it make you super rich, it makes your children super rich and your children's children super rich. There's it's hard really to... a lot of people saying, well, I wouldn't go. Yeah, you don't really know, do you? Let's be fair. How much money they throw at you, it could really change your life. So, I would hope that wouldn't be the case. Then there's another rumour, which actually, almost 6 degrees of separation. It's Mo Salah. Mo Salah going to Saudi Arabia may well prompt Liverpool to move for Jarrod Bowen. This is a major concern as well. Before I go into any detail about discussing that, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by scanning that QR code up in the top corner of the screen. Not sure how you do that whilst watching the video, but what I would do is I would click the link below. The reason to download the OneFootball app is because it's your one-stop shop for all your footballing needs. Sounds like a bit of a cliche, but it really is, because at the point where you download it, it asks you who you support. You put in West Ham, and what it will do is it will filter out all the other news and just give you the West Ham stuff, be it starting lineups, injury news, transfer news, quotes and reports, the manager's press conference, all the stuff you need to know about West Ham. It will surf the internet, it will go around all the newspapers, just pluck in all the West Ham stories, put them all in one place and deliver them to your phone so you don't have to go searching for it. Best of all, the OneFootball app is free. Click the link below, and I know you've come from Hammers Chat, and we'd greatly appreciate it. So, Jarrod Bowen. Now, this one again is easy to believe. There's 2 steps to this. Do you believe that some of the Saudi clubs will be interested in Mo Salah? Well, of course. Why wouldn't they be? You know, he's been Liverpool's top goal scorer for the past few years. Exceptional player, Liverpool's best player. They signed Cristiano Ronaldo over there. They can absolutely pay him whatever he wants. Ridiculous wages. I think they've certainly already plundered Liverpool a couple of times this season, as I mentioned before. So do you believe that Saudi club be interested in Mo Salah? Yes, very believable. Do you also then believe that Mo Salah's replacement might be Jarrod Bowen? Well, that's incredibly believable as well. I can very much believe that. They play in exactly the same position. Well, not exactly, but close enough in that same position. Would Jarrod Bowen's head be turned? Well, you'd imagine so, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd sort of hope not. You hope he loves it at West Ham. He scored the goal, kissed the badge the other day. He's, he's just had twins with Danny Dyer Jr. and his father-in-law's, or future father-in-law, I don't know if they're married yet, is a Hammer, is a West Ham fan. You'd sort of hope, as a West Ham fan, you hope that that's pull and lure enough, but it's a concern. There's absolutely no doubt about it at all. That's a worry, and yeah, that's one of our best players, isn't he? And at the point where we're building up, I think we've done really well to reinvest this Declan Rice money in the way that we have. It's actually been sensational. I'm delighted with the way the club have done it, and it does appear that fate has conspired to allow us to keep Lucas Paqueta when it just seemed he was going. What's happening with the FA charge? I don't know. I don't know at the moment. But at the moment, it appears like we've sort of lucked in a little bit there with Lucas Paqueta staying. I don't think we can really handle losing players like Kurt Zouma, losing players like Jarrod Bowen. Certainly not. We need to keep those and let them play alongside Kudus and obviously James Ward-Prowse and Alvarez and whoever else we might get. So, yeah, I think, that's a little bit of a concern. So there's part of me that doesn't think there's enough left of the transfer window, and but there's another part of me that wants it to slam shut so as we don't lose any players. But that Saudi thing is not going away. I think every season, if anyone's got any good players, be it West Ham, Liverpool or anyone else, you're going to find your players linked with the move to Saudi. So it really just deals with, whether or not you're going to be able to keep them, whether they're happy at your club. Another one, which is from a website called The Football Faithful. It says, Liverpool have said defender is not for sale because West Ham are interested in signing Joe Gomez. Now, that's a really weird one. I haven't heard that one before, it has to be said. Would West Ham be interested in Joe Gomez? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, he's a right-sided central defender who can also play right wing. Oh, sorry, right back, should I say. Well, we've already got two of those. Mavropanos can do that, as can obviously Thilo Kehres. I'm not sure we'd sign him as well. So I would suggest that Liverpool probably want to be keeping that player, bearing in mind they're struggling to find a position for Trent Alexander-Arnold, aren't they, really? Very talented player, Alexander-Arnold. But he's not the first talented player that you sort of look at him and think, I'm not sure what your position is. I remember Newcastle had a defender called Philippe Albert. Very, very talented player, but you're never sure he was a centre-back. And I don't know if anyone remembers Frank Leboeuf at Chelsea. He was the same, really talented, but I can't remember the guy. Sold Sideshow Bob from Chelsea and Arsenal as well, the Brazilian guy. He was, again, very, very good footballer, but you sort of struggle to think, are you really a defender? I don't know. As I look at Trent Alexander-Arnold and think, not sure he's actually a defender. Now, the Brazilian striker that we spoke about, Yuri Alberto. I'm still struggling to believe this, but the more I struggle to believe it, the news just keeps coming through that Tim Steidten's over there in Brazil and we're looking to sign this player. I do worry. I know I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing bad to say about David Moyes at the moment. I think the new signings coming in, he's playing them. He's played Alvarez. He's obviously played James Ward-Prowse. Of course, why wouldn't he? I'm pretty sure he's going to play Kudus as well. Not sure he'll start against Luton, but that's just what David Moyes is like, isn't it? But I do look at this guy, this Yuri Alberto, and I watched him. I thought, I'm not sure he plays under David Moyes. I'm really not. But I don't know. I mean, I might have that completely and utterly wrong. Happy to be proven wrong on that one. Apparently, Tim Steidten's over there. Tim Steidten sold the idea of the West Ham project to Alberto. Not seen enough of him. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, only seen a few YouTube clips. I think that one's got a lot left to run. We've also been linked with, I think I've got to check, is Flamengo striker Pedro. Don't know on that one as well. I definitely think we're after a striker, though, so we should be. I mentioned before. This is looking for Scamacca's replacement rather than Antonio's here. Outs looks like Danny Ings. There's some mileage in Danny Ings to Everton, and also somebody pointed out, of course, that Sean Dyche, Maxwell Cornet played under Sean Dyche. Hard to imagine a scenario where Maxwell Cornet plays much for West Ham this season. Wouldn't be surprised to see him on the way out, and the other one that's possibly being rumoured because it's been suggested that two fringe players, that's four, I don't know why I did that, two fringe players might be on their way out of West Ham to free up squad spaces for others to come in. Pablo Fornals is the favourite for there, which we've spoken about it before. That would really be a massive shame. But he's only got 1 year left on his contract, and he wants regular first team football. He just ain't going to get it at West Ham, is he? But we love him to bits, Pablo Fornals. Nothing solid in any of the news that I've told you today, but something's going to happen. Something has to start moving in the next 24 hours. It's going to be a busy time. For that reason, I find it hard to believe that Tim Steidten, bearing in mind he's the deal closer at the moment, he spent all his time over in Brazil. I don't know. I probably got it totally and utterly wrong. He's been a busy boy in this transfer window, so I think I'll believe this that particular story about his trip to Brazil when I see it. Hey, maybe you know differently. Maybe we've seen a picture of him in a jet. That's when we know. We see the old jet life thing, and there he is in one of the numerous private jets. I know it's a chartered jet, but yeah. Anyway, really interesting. Watch this space. Things are going to happen really, really quickly within the next 48 hours.